Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. And thank you so much for staying with us. This morning in studio with us, we have Mr. William Nurse. You might know that name. He is an attorney at law and a former ACP of the TTPS. As you are aware, we recently heard that the Independence Day Parade for 2025 has been cancelled, citing security issues. And so we're going to have that conversation this morning in studio. Mr. Nurse, good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, sir, and your viewers, and all of Tobago, whether they are here or abroad.
That's right. Thank you so much for gracing us this morning. The very, very important and relevant conversation. You know, Trinidad and Tobago, one time of the year that we come together, every creed and every race, is at the Independence Day Parade. Now, we've been told recently that the parade this year and all activities have been cancelled, citing security issues. And we've heard a lot of people saying so many things on social media. Everybody has their own opinion. Oh, how could you take this away from us? It's a time we come together. Some people saying, why do you need a fire truck to wet you down? All sorts of things are happening. While we, the general public, we don't really know the true extent of what the security issues are. We've heard things being rumored about, but we don't have the information. And I don't think it is absolutely necessary for the government to tell us A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We know the general summary, and that is what we are guided by. And so we have a nation that seems to be divided at a time where we should be together. And we want to know, what is your stance? What is your position and your opinion in terms of the cancellation, the reason for the cancellation, and of course the responses from the general public?
Well, in my view, in order to descend into a conversation on this, we need to set building blocks. Firstly, I would ask, what does Independence Day mean to Trinidad and Tobago? That's one. Two, what does it mean to the ordinary citizen? What does it mean? And thirdly, what information does the government have that warrants the cancellation of the Independence Day Parade? Independence to Trinidad and Tobago, we all understand it's coming out of British rule and so on, and giving us an opportunity to manage our own affairs to some extent. The Independence Day celebration is a public display of us saying we have lifted our own flag, we are managing our own affairs. Now, that said, let us go now to what information that the government might have. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister is chairman of the National Security Council. We have to trust our security agency, our intelligence agency. And more importantly, that celebration is the celebration of Her Excellency the President. So one would assume that consultation was had with Her Excellency the President. My trouble is, one, who was the right person to have made such a declaration? I would think that having had consultation with the highest office holder, I was looking to see that the Honorable Prime Minister will make such an announcement, because it's a very important day to all of us. And consultation with Her Excellency the President, I would not have put an ordinary minister to make such a pronouncement. That the Prime Minister, I think the Prime Minister should have done that. Now, bear in mind, national security trumps all. If there is an issue of national security, everything else halts there. Not even the courts, go behind the curtain to examine what is happening in national security. Everybody, the entire citizenry is involved. The whole public of Trinidad and Tobago is affected by national security. So I think if the government has that information, the government acted correctly, in my respectful view. Now, there are some people who have placed in the public domain utterances to indicate that this Independence Day celebration should be taken away completely. What is the use of it to us? And some people attach monetary value to it. With that, I disagree. Now, let us think about the little child from Charlottesville who comes down to Scarborough to see the Independence Day parade, and the fella from up the hill in Laventille, the family coming together to see the Independence Day parade and to say, well, which outfit looks the best? You understand what I'm saying? So it's a big deal, and I think we shouldn't play with it. It's a sign of our nationhood. It's a display of our nationhood, and we should never disband it.
And of course, the primary reason being the security measures. We have to, I mean, as you rightfully said, it's an opportunity for a display of national pride, national love, where we are as opposed to where we were, and of course forging the way ahead for Trinidad and Tobago. It's a time where people forget that they vex with their neighbor. You know what I'm saying? People sort of forget about the things that bother them and that they're frustrated by, and they come out in support of. But the burning thing is, there's a threat to the national security, and that is the issue that a lot of people are questioning because we don't have information. Because we don't know the gravity of the situation, people are left to forge their own, to make their own narratives, and people come up with all sorts of conversations. And now with of course, with social media, people are free to just speak, freely and loosely on the topic. And so, I wanted to address that part of it, the security aspect of it. Should we? Yes, we want to have the parade. Yes, we want to celebrate. But how do we balance what we really want as opposed to what the nation needs, based on the information we have from the intelligence?
Well, one has to manage information as it pertains to national security. I cannot if I am privy to national security information and I come and tell you, you tell the entire public, well, this one, that one, it really has to be managed. And the important thing is the rank of the person who speaks to the nation. It's something like this. I would have expected that the Honorable Prime Minister to have spoken, because the nation is affected. Not only is Trinidad and Tobago affected locally. These issues, when raised, the question we must ask: can they affect Trinidad and Tobago's image abroad? And I think it was, is it yesterday, the Vice President of the United States of America is referencing Trinidad and Tobago in terms of murders. And these things speak volume. So management of the information and or the intelligence that come to us. Now, intelligence really should not come from bottom up, if you understand what I mean. I have always had issues with where our intelligence agency within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, while I was there, is placed. I am of the view that and I held that view from my training and so on, that intelligence in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service should be equivalent, or the reporting officer should report to no less a person than the commissioner. No less a person. So that information is top down and is not bottom up, because if it's bottom up, then that is why we can say we were having so much troubles with leakage of information, because we put it from the bottom up. The commissioner is the first to know any intelligent information within the police service. He should be the first to know, and he divulges the information downward. He trends it downward maybe to his deputy commissioner intelligence, maybe to his deputy commissioner operation. Because if one understands the structure, the commissioner, and he has 3 deputies, those are that's the upper executive of the police service. The other executive rank is the assistant commissioner, and they have responsibility for so on and so on, for different divisions. So in this case, in my respectful and humble view, I think the information ought to have been better managed. One, to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago's image is not further damaged or damaged beyond repair. Number 2, 3. Because there was supposed to have been consultation with Her Excellency the President, which is the highest office holder, then the person, in my view, who should have alerted the nation is the Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Nurse, I want to get back to the Independence Parade just for a short while. There have been voices stating that we should still try to do something, whether it's with NGO organizations, non-government organizations, because we can't utilize the security apparatus, but some sort of parade still with the NGOs or paramilitary organizations of any sort to still give the public something. Just speak to that and speak to whether that would be some sort of contravention in the orders given by the Ministry of National Security.
Well, I think so. I think so. These street parades require permission from the Commissioner of Police and other government agencies. The horns that people carry and so on, music trucks, you know. One of the things I would say is that it isn't that anything is not happening, nothing is happening. The government has suggested that a day of prayer, right? It may not be what we want. It may not be consistent with what we have grown accustomed to, but it is yet something. I will not suggest to people to engage in street parades because that aspect of the Independence Day parade has been cancelled. And I think people can get together in the public spaces and you know, and create their own atmosphere of celebration and whatever form it may take, whether it's prayer, whether it's, you know, and so on. Mm-hmm. But I would not suggest street parades.
Okay. And so with that said, what would you suggest to the Tobago House of Assembly? Should they do something internally within in an inside space, maybe at Shaw Park or somewhere else, to sort of still commemorate the day for the people of Tobago?
That's a completely different conversation. And this is why I have always been concerned that with the Tobago House of Assembly and whether or not the independence, the Tobago aspect of the independence parade should have been cancelled. You know, yes, there is a crime situation in Trinidad, but is Tobago affected directly by it? And you know, a lot of question is it would operate in your mind, whether we are better without our self-determination. It raises those questions in my mind, and but that's a completely different conversation which we don't have the time for. But the Honorable Chief Secretary would want to give the respect to the central government, and he's right in that regard. What I would suggest is that your in-house function, nobody could stop you. If you have an in-house function, you can have that. But I would not suggest street parades. I repeat, it may run counter on conflict with the security agencies.
I don't know when this conversation will end, because it's an anomaly for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. Where when you're accustomed to something and it's stripped away from you, you're left wondering. You're like Alice in Wonderland, you're kind of trying to figure things out. You're trying to find your feet in the situation. So I don't think the conversation is going to end here. But we really do appreciate your position on the conversation in terms of your experience, one, and the way that you are able to analyze the situation and to bring meaning to it from your experience and your skills and your training. And so, this is where we are, Trinidad and Tobago. This is where we are. There's going to be no parade. There's nothing we can do about it. And we should not try to have our own parades. But, I'm happy to learn that we can at least still do something. But I still want to caution people. I don't have the information. I don't work for TTPS. I am not any affiliate. But I still want us to be cautious. And I know you mentioned, is Tobago different to Trinidad in terms of, Akinlabi, you asked, should we still do something in the Tobago space? We don't know. We've said that the threat is isolated to Trinidad. We don't know that for certain.
Well,
you see, we don't have the information,
Yeah.
So we can't take those chances. It is what it is, and we have to pull up our big boy boots and just do what we gotta do in this space. We still gotta celebrate. We're still happy. We're still independent. We're still going to do what we can do within the confines of what was advised by the current administration in Trinidad and Tobago. It is what it is. But we still gotta have an independence. Mr. Nurse, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for having the conversation with us.
My pleasure.
And we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful the rest of the week and a good independence as well.
Great one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations. And as we go, we invite you to help us.
Share the live, share the live, share the live.